Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Dead Day, issue number 1. That's right, we got a whole new holiday. Let's get talking about who made this comic book, because this was actually really good. Even the things in here that made me angry were actually in a really good way. Let's get talking about this. This is chapter 1. Ryan Parrott is the writer and the creator. He also did books like Go-Go Power Rangers and one of the IDW Star Trek books. He did a Batman story also. It was a Gotham's Gate. It's at the back. It's one of the Batman books I haven't actually read. So is what it is. Yeah, Gates of Gotham. Batman Gates of Gotham. Okay, here's the name I'm going to probably wind up butchering. Evgeny Bornyakov. There we go. Did the best I could. It's a Russian name. I looked it up in the back. It's a Russian name. Hey. Juan Cho is with an exclamation point at the back, is the colorist, and Charles Pritchett is the letterer. The main cover is done by Andy Clark and Jose Villarrubia, and the incentive cover is by Francisco Francavilla. Charles Pritchett does the logo and the design. Okay, let's get started. So we've got these two main characters, and a tertiary character. We're going to get to him in a moment. So we've got, who is this here? We got Daniel is one of the guys, and I think the woman's name is Melissa. Yes, I am correct. So they are husband and wife, and they've got two little kids. And who cares what? Oh, you got Brandon and the little sister. I think her name is Sarah. Anyway, Brandon seems to be the one so far that's going to get himself into a lot of trouble. So, look, this book is very, very, very slow to get to what's happening in the book, to get to what Dead Day really is, what it's about, all that crazy stuff, all right? And I don't want to come up here and spoil stuff for you. So I'm just going to give you a little bit about the book, and then I'm going to tell you when I'm going to get into a little bit of spoiler stuff in here, all right? And honestly, I hope that you understand and like what I'm talking about here before I get to the spoilers, so you go out and buy the book, and then you can actually read it for yourself. Check this out. So Daniel and Melissa, they're having a conversation about, I've got to go meet this guy. It's like, well, what if he doesn't show? He didn't show the last 2 times, so what's to say he's going to show this time? She's like, I know, but if he does show, then I have to go with him. Okay, this whole thing is really weird. It's like, what is this? Like, is this her grandfather is going to, like, show up? And it's like, hey, I haven't talked to my uncle in a long time. Like, is it something like that? Then he goes and says something like, I'm not going to have my own wife go out there, and it stops, and all of a sudden they're interrupted right when something is about to be said, where it's like, oh, this will explain what's going on, right? And they do that maybe 2 more times total in the book. I think it's a total of 2 times in the book. Anyway, it's not too much where it gets annoying. It's not too little where it's like, oh, well, they just explained it. It's done in a way that keeps me wanting to read. I just want to keep reading this book going forward. I want to see, well, wait a second. What is it? What's going to go on? Because I'm sure that once I figure it out, I'm not going to care about the book anymore, right? Nope, that's not what happens at all. You finally figure out what's going on. Then you figure out who she's got to go with. We still don't understand why. Now's where I'm going to get into the, now I'm going to get into spoiler stuff, okay? Now I'm going to get into spoiler stuff. The thing that happens is that every so often, from a sunset to a sunrise, the dead actually come back to life. They're still dead. They're basically undead. They're still creepy looking and leathery skinned, and they come back. And everybody in the town is all sorts of freaked out, like, whoa, what's going on? Now, this is not something that happens annually, like a Christmas or an Easter, okay? The little girl goes and points that out. This is going to be the 4th Dead Day that's ever happened, and there's this one group out there. I can't remember what they're called, but there's this one group that they're basically a cult, and the only thing special about this cult is they always seem to know when the Dead Day is going to happen, and they're always right. So all of it's freaky. So there's a lot of information being put out there, and you have to guess what's the real information, what's the wrong information. The guy's going, they go to a gunsmith, or they go to a gun shop, and they're just like, hey, I ordered this. You still have my 2 boxes, the 2 boxes of ammunition. I think they're hollow points she's looking for I don't know, a handgun. And the guy's like, yeah, it's going to be a total of $300. She's like, listen, bud, I called you a couple weeks ago and you said it's going to be 25, 25 each. And he's like, yeah. And basically he implies, but now the price has gone up because tonight is the night before Dead Day. She's pissed, but she's still got to keep a smile on her face because you still got to work with this person because you need what's being sold. Even then, how much does it cost to get a good aluminum baseball bat? Right? It's not that much. It's not that much to get an aluminum baseball bat. I usually get mine from thrift stores because, hey. But she's trying to buy one, and the guy's like, yeah, I can sell you a nice aluminum baseball bat for $75. This works, especially in today's climate, because, this is the first time that comic books are coming back since the pandemic, right? So what's happening is we're seeing price gouging, right? Oh, masks and gloves and hand sanitizer and Lysol wipes and Lysol spray. These things, toilet paper, hello. All of a sudden, these things are like high commodities. So there's these big retail businesses that are supposed to abide by certain laws. You can't be a big business retailer if you don't. You better go on eBay or Amazon if you want to price gouge. No, you have to abide by certain rules and regulations. You can't just gouge the market, right? Here in Canada, at least, you could be charged like $500,000 if you're a business and you increase the price of something by 3 times its amount. The term set was 3 times or more of its amount as it's usually sold for, as you have usually sold it for. So that's one way to do it. It's like if you're trying to take advantage of this market, you're screwed. Anyway, this guy's taking advantage because, hey, what are you going to do? You're free to go someplace else. And it was done in a really interesting way where I'm mad at this guy, but I also understand, hey, this is also one of the situations, as somebody who actually, I'm not a full-blown prepper, but I do prep. And I do think to myself, realistically, you should have gone in and gotten this stuff in town 2 freaking weeks ago, like you said, because you don't know when the next Dead Day is going to come. So you should have gotten the stuff already in advance, right? Anyway, it gets more than that. It turns out that the person who's coming to meet her is her ex-fiancé. Maybe it's her ex-husband, I don't know, but at the very least, her ex-fiancé. You get to see when this guy proposed to her. You even possibly get to see how he died, even though it's not shown, it's implied. And she's got to go with this guy. And he doesn't, he's dead, but he's still holding back secrets. If he's in fact dead, this whole thing is freaking weird. And it's like, dude, why do you need to go with your ex-fiancé? You're married now. You got a kid. She's like, well, this is a commitment that I made before I met you. Yeah, but then you had kids. You need to go and hang out with this dead person who you just bought hollow point bullets in order to go and hang out with this guy. None of this is making sense. And I'm actually really angry at her. Like, why are you doing this? You're an idiot. You're married now. You don't do this. Could you imagine if I go and told an ex-girlfriend, hey, I promise I'm going to hang out with you, especially if you're undead and possibly you're going to eat people? Because again, there's a lot of misinformation out there. There's only bad people coming back? Is that what's happening? Or is it just people who have a grudge against people? It's like, hey, you killed me before. So is that a bad person if you killed me before? Well, it depends. I don't know the circumstances. There's so much information. Oh, it's harder to kill a dead person, so you got to do a little bit more. It's not like killing you and me. It's like, killing one of those guys. You need some serious stopping power. So, is it real? Is it not real? Is it true? Is it a fact? Is it fiction? There's so much misinformation being spread. And it's done so expertly. Look, this is just issue 1. If I don't see consistency in this, where people are finding out that, oh, this is not really the case. Actually, it's not just bad people coming back. You don't actually need a hollow point to, you just like touch them between the eyes or on the button of the nose or something like that. I don't know. If we don't see misinformation being corrected or maybe even worse, if we don't see things like this, I'm going to be bothered, because this is the precedent that is set by this issue. In case I can't find images, this is what the book looks like. It's beautiful art, man. This is really beautiful art. And there's a bunch of stuff happening in here that's just, it's gorgeous. Look, are these actually police? Because they don't look like police. They do look like they're all in the same uniform. I don't know what police force has green trousers. Is this supposed to be the National Guard? They do have, it looks like, M16s. I don't know, man. Maybe. I remember wearing flak coats back in the day, but, you know, it's a different time period now. There's people who wear these masks and things like that. There's all these different people. They're waiting for different things. This one guy over here, he goes and he puts up goat's blood over his door because, hey, it worked back in biblical times. Dude, oh, like, does it actually work? Does it not work? Probably not. I don't know. This is almost unprecedented. This is only the 4th dead day that's going to happen. This book, I'm loving what's happening in this book. This is a wild, crazy book where it feels very subdued. And then all of a sudden, Dead Day happens. It's like, whoa, I'm really into this. Guys, like I said, this could wind up being an absolute flop of a book, but this first issue is not. I'm digging on this. This is a really good, pretty original idea, a pretty original take on a very used idea. The idea of the dead, you know, coming back to life, the zombie thing. Zombies are bigger than freaking vampires nowadays, for crying out loud. All the different zombie stuff coming out. It's when you take a new take on something that people clearly already like. That's when all of a sudden something winds up becoming a big deal. Is this going to be as big as The Walking Dead? We'd like to say probably not, but I will say if it's not, it's going to be because these guys didn't advertise the way they should have. Look at this. These are special preparations that you could take for Dead Day. The next page, the next 2 pages does the same thing. They also, look at this. It's become an acronym at this point, right? All these different things to do for Dead Day. Here's where I see a huge problem. I see where they could have put a website someplace. Instead, they just put, you know, a word. Instead, go visit the website at such and such website, but they don't actually put the website there. How genius would it have been if Aftershock Comics could have spent a couple of extra bucks and advertised in, let's say, a Marvel mag or a DC mag. I mean, if Sven Gulli can afford to put this big, long ad over multiple issues in DC Comics, you're telling me Aftershock couldn't have seen this, or whoever's in charge couldn't, Ryan Parrott, whoever couldn't have said, you know what, let's put this out. Hey, let's put out a web page and try and spread it over social media. Actually put the web page out there. Put a couple little tricks on the website. It doesn't cost that much to do a website. They could have done something like that. Put that out there. You know, like the campaign that the Matrix did back in the day. Go look up the campaign that the original Matrix movie did. What is the Matrix? And it kept you really into everything. It's COVID situation. Everybody's stuck at home. What are you going to do? Kids aren't at school. I'm the teacher now. So, what do you call it? Yeah, it's freaking crazy, man. It's crazy. This book, it could have gone so much bigger than it already is, and yet it didn't. It was right there, though, man. If this would have gone out, if I would have been hankering to read this comic book a month prior, 2 months prior, I think a month prior would have been plenty. Reading this comic book, I feel like it only would have been bigger. Like, dude, what? I would have been pulling my hair out waiting for that next issue. This is, for me, a really good comic book. Issue number 1, bang. It's not too often a book comes along that really, like, especially an indie book, that comes along and just says, you want to see, starts twisting my dials. You really want to see the next issue, don't you? I'll be like, no. I need to read the next issue. I need to read the next issue on this. This is really good. And I'm out. Guys, consider checking out this comic book. Also, if an ad shows up at the end of this, maybe it's an ad for this. It should be an ad for this. But if an ad does show up, I'm saying it's the only way your favorite YouTubers get paid. So, go buy the book to support the book. Allow an ad to play, even if you're not going to watch it, in order to support your favorite YouTubers. And I'm out now. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.